Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to ask anything, just I would like you to say some words before just starting to talk with, or any question already, we have to do it. Everything this says is not true, the first thing, okay? Just to tell you.
Well, the girls, elles seraient bienvenues. They would have come with pleasure, but they had to go back to the States, unfortunately. They're coming back to Paris now. In fact, they're doing a show in December in Paris. It's funny that in real life they are going to perform in Paris.
Because they really do the shows in the America.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, two of them are from New York. One is from San Diego, Los Angeles, lot, and but that exists everywhere in the United States. They come really from the United States. Yes.
This dark side of the stage life and everything, how does that idea came for you?
In fact, everything started with a book from Colette, who's a French woman author, and she wrote a sort of diary of her life on tour because at one moment she had left a man who was a famous writer. He would sign the books that she was writing under his name, and she fell in love with a woman, and she wanted to go on tour doing music hall, and she did sort of pantomimes, a bit scandalous, she would just show a tit, and this diary is incredible because there was this feeling of being always attracted by the movement, being the nomad, and not having a home, people that are tensed to the night, where you can be a bit beautiful, and the disaster of every morning where you are like shit and you have to start again. And the fact also that you go through cities that you can never see. You only see the rail station and the hotels. They're all the same. That's how it started, really. And I was trying to find something today that could resonate with Colette, because music hall numbers would have been only nostalgic, would haven't really say something on today, and so we wrote a lot. And after 2 or 3 years, I just fell on this article in a newspaper with 2 photos, and it was about burlesque, new burlesque, and I had never heard about it before. And immediately I thought, maybe it's exactly the same pulsion than Colette, just why showing your body is maybe a way to free yourself, and not the strip that you think is only about people that are prisoners, that need money or something, I don't know. And we started to write again when we met those women, this world that I didn't know.
Vous avez reçu le prix de mise en scène à Cannes pour ce film, mais vous êtes aussi dans le film. Je crois que vous l'avez écrit aussi. Alors, est-ce que vous vous sentez plus confortable dans le rôle de comédien, d'acteur, d'écrivain ou de réalisateur?
Comfortable, that's not really what I'm searching for. But let's say that when I wake up in the morning, I'm more thinking of films that I can fabriquer, yeah, just do films like that. And because I started more as a technician behind the camera, Paolo knows that because when I was very young, I worked a lot on films that Paolo produced, and then Paolo helped me on my short films that I directed, and then this life as an actor started much later when I was 30, because Arnaud Desplechin invented me as an actor. I didn't know that I could do that. And so, yeah, just making films, and then I'm attracted to filmmakers. So I can't resist acting. But all the time, this film, for instance, had been postponed several times because of acting. And I wasn't supposed to act in the film. I didn't write it for me. We really were inspired by other stories. And yes, of course, something of my life when I observed Paolo working, struggling, fighting like a funambule, I don't know how you say, and the passion that you have to put in that so that a film can exist, the lies, everything, the cheat, the charm, and it's true that that was really the main inspiration. And then producers, how can a producer continue? It's a mystery for me. And yeah, that was, and yeah, and then, well, 3 weeks before the shooting, the producers, they knew that I was going to act. I didn't know. I asked Paolo to act. In fact, really, he did.
The film should not be shown here, you know, if I was the actor, you know, because everybody will run away after 5 minutes.
It's not true. But yeah, I kept his mustache. Really. And that really helped me.
Only the mustache, okay.
Yeah. And so I just dived into the scenes, and in fact, I think that maybe the fact that I had to exist as a man in all those incredible bodies of women made me very, it was really interesting to be not just protected by the camera, behind the camera, observing them, but having to find a way to exist as a man. And then we wrote a lot of scene about that. That's why there's lots of struggle when it's our show. And, you know, the things really seemed, yeah, we tried to, yeah. And yeah, I wrote the film, but with friends, 2 friends, yeah.
We're just talking about passion, and I heard you say once that you knew someone who had sold a house in order to make a movie. So it's a tough business. How do you find that passion every day? What keeps you going?
Oh, I think, yeah, you know, the work it's more you go in age, and in fact more you're young, and it seems infinite. I don't know why. At the beginning, you sort of have sort of principles, ideas that are, you try to only have ideas, and after a moment, you just abandon yourself, and film seems to be more and more, yes, wide. I don't know why.
I need to say that you have the amazing ability to create personalities to each character in the movie. We see Mimi, we see Joaquin, we see the kids, we see everybody has their own personality. And Now it's more a question about like the movie. Do you see yourself in Joaquin or no, not at all? Or you see a little bit?
You know, yeah, well, this thing about personality, well, they have personality. But it's true that maybe it's because we wrote a lot, in fact. And as the story only happens on 3 days and a half, in fact, you have to write a lot on what happened before, you know? So it's true that we invented a lot of stories on those people. And not doing a journalistic work, trying to know things about their childhood. I didn't ask them anything. We even wrote before meeting them, you know. We wanted to do a film like boys imagining the room of the girls where you can never enter, you know, but fantasizing as a boy. So, and then, yeah, well, Joachim, as I didn't write it for me, it was more about everything, everything that you are not allowed to do in real life, you know?
Because he ends up being addicted to women and to the night and to that kind of life. Joaquin, he ends up.
Oh, I think that started very young. I think it's the first man that he meets, you know, this man with a hat. I think it's this guy that learned him the life of night and everything. But it was strange in the editing afterwards to see my face and all that, because the shooting was very joyful with the crew. We, in fact, tried to, because in fact, producing a film and directing a film, for me now, seems to be almost the same thing, because where you put the money is already directing, in fact. And we had this idea that to grab the energy of the show of the girls, the camera, they couldn't do it for the camera. They needed an audience. So, in fact, we did a real tour. And the shows, we offered a free show to people. We didn't know if people would come. So it's the real reaction of people. And we would shoot during those moments. And same thing for the hotels. We would live in the hotels where we were shooting, traveling, trying to shoot not long time, to be always running, you know.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think even for the performance, that keeps being real and spontaneous and true to them also.
Well, that I discovered that really, in fact, if you write a lot before, you can invent on the moment. It wasn't improvised, never. But it was more like, I don't know, like free jazz, you know, where it seems so that people can play together. They need to know the harmonies, la grille des accords, very precisely, everybody. So I don't know, we were there, a lot of complicity. And then, yeah, in the editing, I was a bit surprised that Joachim's character was so desperate. That was a bit, yeah. So, but doing a film is you film things that you're not allowed to do. To leave your home, to be rude with your children, to, you know, all those things. So you can have fun doing that.
You just now understand that we are already in the sequel of the movie. You know, it's already, this will be in the next chapter.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm sure there's gonna be a next chapter. That's very strange. Maybe in 10 years, 15, I don't know, but they're part of my life now. Yeah. Oh. I'm sure. That's what's contagious with those women. It's true. That's why we had this idea of this scene in the supermarket with this woman that wants to do it. Because it's true, all the people, and especially in France, because they're not aware of New Burlesque. They never saw it. So people just, and what is, yeah, to see how men watch women and how they look at their wife afterwards and how women see the show, it's really, that's why they do that. It's very political, in fact. They don't say it, but it's more efficient to do it through the body than through words.
I love the film, but it looks very, it doesn't look like any other film, and I wondered what films you'd been influenced by, what your favorite films were.
So many, because let's say that after a moment, of course, there was an attraction for the American cinema of the 70s. Lenny of Bob Fosse, all that jazz, 5 Easy Pieces, and Cassavetes. So what do you do with Cassavetes? And of course, at one moment even, I say, okay, let's assume it completely, and why don't I imagine Colette working in Cosmo Vitelli's club, that's in the Chinese bookie, Ben Gazzara. And I really tried to imagine that, but I didn't want to see the films again. I tried to stay only on the memories of those films. It's because often, you know, you imagine things that, and then you have to get rid of all that, because on a set you have to be yourself. I mean, there was lots of things, but mostly with, let's say, with the DP, with Christophe, yes, we were more on something from the 70s in the American cinema. That is, for me, an incredible period.
You mentioned a lot To Kill a Chinese Book at that moment.
Yeah.
You know, the John Cassavetes movie.
Yeah, Chinese bookie, yeah. And maybe for the kids also, Love Streams. And also a film from Ariane Mouchkine on Molière. Lots of different sort of things. Honky Tonk Man, Clint Eastwood, about the kid, the relation to the kid. Yeah.
Hi. I would like to ask you about the last scene, the last hotel, because we see the film is going on tournée from one hotel to another, and the last hotel is quite surrealistic. It's like an abandoned hotel, very beautiful, but then the characters act like it's another more hotel. They don't react too much to this emptiness, to this surrealistic scene. Could you talk a little bit more about this scene?
In the script, we knew that we had to go to this room that we called the Blue Room in the script. We had we had to arrive to this scene where, after love, a woman just takes care of the sleep of a man, you know, and he just forgot maybe those tenderness gesture, just, you know, that was the goal. And we had found a location for that place, but then Elsa, the first assistant, she said, maybe I saw something on an island, I don't know, I couldn't enter, and we found the keys, and there was something this empty shell, as she says in the film. I don't know, it inspired me completely, because even the empty swimming pool, at one moment it made me think of Big Sur. I mean, you could be back in the United States, and I was searching something also to continue this thing about the music that he wants to shut down all the time. Yeah, so we wrote this scene that we called the adoption scene, where in fact it's the girls that adopt him in their show, in their tour. I don't know, I found it warm. Yeah.
For me, when I saw it, I think this scene, it was when I was really, you know, impressed in the good sense, and because it's really we feel the freedom of this movie, the freedom against everything that it's, you know, everything, you know, the script very well, you know, written, everything, and this freedom is now is very rare in the cinema, even in France, and I could find it, you know, years ago in maybe someone you don't know, Jacques Rosier, for example, you know, and this scene for me is very, you know, in like all the film, but on this film, I think, oh, this is really what the film needed to end, you know, that.
It's really the location that it was, for me, evidence. You just are attracted to a place, and
You find it just before you shoot, some days before?
yeah, 1 month before, yeah. And in fact, we wrote a lot of things. How do they find themselves in this abandoned hotel? Of course, with the car, then we wrote things on the beach, and they, you know, where do they go, and they find this place. It's nice to write it, but then you don't need to shoot it. And I wanted this thing where to start in a room, a hotel room, you think it's a normal hotel room, a bit empty, but a bit normal, and then you go to, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
last question, please.
Oh, I have two. So,
Last two questions.
the thing is, it really looks like you fell in love with the new burlesque, and the way you shoot it is, especially the shows, are quite particular, and it looks like you had an influence on the new American photography, or I don't know. I'm asking you, was that an influence or was that a choice? And the other question is, it's a really, the film looks like it's very beautiful written, but it's a very risky kind of writing. Did you have any difficulty like selling it to producers?
On the photography, yes, photographs. I showed things of photographs of Nan Golding, yes, for instance, but also a woman called Elinor Carucci, who is a belly dancer, and in New York, and she sort of wanted to take photographs of herself during those nights she spends doing shows. And then, no, with Christophe, the DP, no, in fact, the work was to hide the work. To give the impression that, in fact, nothing was written. That was the difficult part. How do you know, in life, often the moments, the important moments never happen at the good time. It's always between two doors, and it's always at the moment where, and I tried to always, yeah, give information, but that you never feel that it has been written. And then that was risky, yeah. But it's my taste, I don't know. It like if, you know, yeah, not to. And we wrote really a lot, and the script, no, the script gave us money. Yeah, I mean, we had l'avance sur recette, l'unanimité. We had money from everywhere, little money, but from everywhere. Because there was no actors, and but people really supported us very strongly. Yeah, little money each time, but from a lot of places. The country that we went through gave us money, Arte, yeah. And then we had to find more money for the music rights. That was also a choice, to put more than 10% of the budget in music rights. Yeah.
Okay, Mathieu, thank you.
It's late for you.
Next year we'll be back.